Hi there, Chris here with another fresh tip for you all. In this video we are going to continue our look at painting the Necron Overlord from the Warhammer 40,000 Indomitus box set. And as you can see, we are getting more and more of this model done. And in this video we are going to take a look at painting the little orb on his punchy fist. To get us started, we're going to use some ceramite white to base coat the area. Now, normally in some of these areas, I would use, say, Celestra Gray just to get an initial color gradient, but I do want to have this solid pretty much the entirety all the way around, and because, as you guessed it, we are going to use that fluorescent pink in this video. If you have not been following along with the previous tutorials, you can see here, the ceramite white is actually really fantastic. It is only about 2 thin layers that I do apply to this little area, and this is the same technique I will use on the orbs on his back as well. Over his shoulder, you'll see there's 2 little orbs, and we're not going to cover that because it's going to be just pretty much the same thing. I'm going to use fluorescent pink from Golden High Flow paint line. It's fantastic colors, thinned out just with the dampness of the brush, and I apply it onto the little orb itself. And then really quickly here, I begin building up a second layer. I'm going to build it up, and what we're going to do here with this orb is something a little bit different. We're basically going to paint this like we would a transparent object, like a gemstone essentially. Here I'm just using a damp clean brush, and I'm pulling some of the excess paint away. It is still wet when I'm doing this. That's why it comes off the model so easily. It's not like it's dried and I came back and pulled the paint off or anything like that. It was still wet when I did that. Here, once that first layer is somewhat dry, we're going to come in and apply a second layer, and we're going to build this deeper color up on the most of the surface area, but pushing most of the color towards the high points. Pretty much in the typical fashion in which we build up the effect of a transparency on the objects and doing gemstones or anything like that. Vulpus Pink is next from Citadel Contrast. This is a really fantastic color. I've been using this a lot in some of these videos. I take a little bit onto my palette, thin it way down, and then begin layering it onto the high point of the orb, and I also use a bit of it to outline around the stone itself, or the orb itself. I say stone because I'm treating it like it's stone. But basically, we're kind of doing this a little bit different as far as like how we've done the other one. Even in the staff, we didn't do this kind of effect, although now looking back on it, I think I probably would have done it on that, because I think it would look really cool, kind of regal as it were. And again, this is just more or less just working out. Here I laid down a little too heavy amount, and I actually pulled a little bit of a tide mark using that Vulpus Pink, which is something you should be mindful of when you're working with very thin glazes. Basically, the paint, because it's so thin, it dries fairly rapidly, and once you've committed to a brush stroke, you just stick with it, versus trying to move the paint back and forth, because that's how you create those tide marks, and you just got to be careful of that. I go back and forth with the fluorescent pink in a really thinned out fashion, and glaze and reestablish the midtones between these really dark tones and the main base tone itself. And you can see there I ended up creating another tide mark in there as well, moving it around too much. Again, when you're glazing, you want to be somewhat careful. Cyan Purple is next. Again, we're going to slap this onto the palette. We're going to take a very generous amount of water into our bristles, thin the color down just ever so slightly, and then we are going to build this up on the high point of the gemstone effect itself. And I also use this just to move around the stone itself, again, providing a dark outline. Realistically, this is just a very, very minimal amount of coloring going onto this portion of the model. We just wanted to build it up nice and dark. And of course, when you're building up these layers in this fashion, it almost ends up looking like black by the time you're done, just because it's so dark and you've laid so many layers down on top of that fluorescence. It just completely buries it. And in that, having said that, I come back with the fluorescent pink, slap a little bit onto my palette. I'm going to use some fluid matte medium from Golden, but any basically any acrylic thinner will do. And the reason I'm using the acrylic thinner is I want the paint to flow like it does normally as a paint, but I don't want it to be quite as pigment heavy. And this is really one of the fantastic ways to go about glazing these areas and working with the paint in a very thinned out fashion that allows you to build up slight transitions And so where the paint is really, really heavy and I'm not happy with it, I basically allow the fluorescence to reside on that little seam line between the Vulpus pink and the fluorescent pink. Next, I'm going to add a drop of white to this mixture. And this is just to bring it up. In fact, I probably could have went with a little bit darker. I probably add another fluorescence, but it's okay because again, it's thinned out and we can slowly build up to these transitions. And here where I'm applying the highlight to the bottom portion of the stone. I'm just going to continue to call it the stone from now on because that's essentially what we're painting it like. Here I'm going back with some magenta again, or not magenta, the fluorescent pink. And again, creating that slight transition between the two. I'm allowing the color to build up. Now, because of the nature of the light fastness of this paint, a lot of the undercolor shows through. So it actually works really, really well in this regard, being used as a glazing paint. Here I just go back and forth with that mixture, building up that little highlight. And I also move the paint around kind of haphazardly. And then, of course, I also start the highlight on the top of the dark area where the spot highlights will go. This was just an aesthetics choice. I don't, it doesn't have to be done in that fashion. I was just seeing how it would look, especially if I put a white inside there. And I was kind of digging at it at first. We're going to come in with some straight titanium white, no thinners needed, with just the dampness of the brush, just to thin the color out ever so slightly. And here I'm just building up just at the very tip of the gemstone where the imagined light source would just, capture and collect within that gemstone. If you ever looked at a gemstone and seen that it's darkest up top and lighter down below, that is really what the effect is that we're going for. And then, of course, here I'm just adding the little spot highlights on top, again representing, a light source above the model, which is a typical fashion which we paint models. Really, is that the light source is always kind of imagined above, and we're rarely ever painting from the mid-tones or anything like that. Here I'm taking a very thinned out Vulpus pink and again just kind of re-establishing some of those tones. I do that a lot with some of these smaller areas, especially when painting within contrast. I like working with it in a very thinned out fashion. Because it is a transparency, it allows a lot of the color to play through. But there it is. That is the gemstone effect with the fluorescent pink. This under a black light will glow brilliantly, but hopefully it still looks like a gemstone. In fact, I haven't tried looking at it yet through with the lights off under a black light to see if it still looks like a transparent fluorescent gemstone, glowing gemstone, but I'm going to have to give that a try later on. Big thank you to all my patrons. Without their support, these videos would not be possible. If you're considering Patreon support, a huge thank you to you. There are varying tiers of support you can choose to, and so big thank you to everybody who does. Take care of those brushes, and they will take care of you.